Welcome back everyone to Living Clean. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about how to make potato soup in a jar. It's super simple, super fun, and it's a great way to preserve your food for a later date. So what we have here are the main ingredients. Let's see. We have potatoes that I've dehydrated. And if you've never dehydrated, it's really easy. You just need any sort of dehydrator. You put your food in there, everything kind of dehydrates at a different temperature and a different time, so you'd have to just kind of go with that. If you want a basic idea, just go low and slow. So the lower temperature is going to be better, preserve more nutrients, and then it'll take about, 14 hours of dehydrating at that temperature, depending on what item it is. Some things dehydrate really fast. But potatoes, these are potato chunks, and they take just a little bit longer to get done. They're one of the longer items I've dehydrated. But I have potatoes, dehydrated. I have all the main suspects for potato soup or potato stew, if you want to call it. This is, if you can believe it, if you can see that, this is dehydrated celery, which I love in my potato soups. And now this is kind of, I don't know, if I'm being really traditional, I'll just put potatoes and celery in there, but these are dehydrated carrots that I thought I would add in for a nice, more full experience for your soup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these three things in a jar. I'm going to seal it, and then when I want potato soup next time, I pull this out. I'm going to soak it in water, probably overnight, and then cook it just like normal, and everything's done, ready to go. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, dehydrating. We kind of talked a little bit about that. All of these took different times. The celery takes the shortest time. And how you can tell something is dehydrated fully, because it cannot have any moisture in it. It needs to be able to break and snap, and you'll hear a really good snap. Get these carrots out. So these are actually, they look weird, but these are carrots, little baby carrots I just cut in half and dehydrated. You hear that snap? That's what you want. No bendiness. If it's bending, it is not quite done. On the potatoes, you can tell, let me see if I can get a good piece here for you. You can kind of see how they shrink in the center. They kind of, everything shrinks in because they used to be squares. And you can see, if you can see through that potato, then you know it's done. Also, if you try to break it, I can't even break this. You have to use a knife, but you'll see inside if it's dry. So everything has to be completely dry. And what you do is whenever you dehydrate something, before you seal it up, you have to let it condition. So that's the second step. Dehydrate whatever you want, can let it condition. So that means put it in a jar like this. Just put the lid on, let it sit for a couple days, and see if you notice any condensation forming in there. If you do, that means it's not quite done. Put it back in the dehydrator and let it go for a little bit longer. And then put it back in, let it condition again over a couple days. So once you've gone a couple days and you've seen no condensation, then you know you're ready to go and you can seal it up. So before we get to the sealing process though, because these have all been conditioned, they've been out for several days, they've been sealed, but just on the countertop waiting. So I have a funnel right here, and we are going to load this up. Now for me, the potatoes take the longest to rehydrate. So I like to put them in this order. We're gonna make a couple of these. Put in my celery first, because that takes the least amount. And then I'm gonna do some carrots just to switch it up. And this would be so nice just to have everything done. All you have to do is soak it up. And then we're gonna put some potatoes in. Now, when you are going to seal things in a glass jar, there's a couple different ways you can do it. But either way you do it, you do not want to overfill your jar. You need a little bit of head space up here, empty space. Otherwise, it won't seal well, at least in the case we're gonna do it. So here we have it. We have our celery, our carrots, and our potatoes, and this is a whole soup in a jar. Now, you may be asking, how are we gonna seal this up? I have my lids right over here. I'm gonna use the Food Saver jar sealers, which we have here, and a brake bleeder to get this done. You can attach this to your food saver if you have a food saver. You can attach a little tube like this into this hole right there and turn on your food saver and it will vacuum out, it'll suck out all the air. Now, if you don't have a food saver, or maybe you don't have electricity at that time or whatever that you're doing this, you can, let me see, I'm just gonna add a little bit more. I think you can have a little bit. There we go. Anyway, you can use a brake bleeder, and this thing is awesome. This is a legitimate brake bleeder. You can buy this at any automotive store or Amazon or whatever, and you just attach the hose to it, attach a little nozzle there that will fit in your food saver jar sealer. And I'll show you how to use this. So the cool thing about saving stuff in jars is that, hold on, I see a little air pocket in here. But the cool thing about this is that you can reuse the lids. Where in canning you cannot reuse lids, you can reuse the lids for sealing in the jars. So if you have this sealed and you pop it open and you use it, then the next time, say you want to reuse that lid again, you can. And that is really awesome. So let me show you how this works. We have our clean lid that we have cleaned. As you can see, we do have some headspace in there. We are going to get this, and it does take some muscle, so we'll see how I do. Okay, gotta hold this on tight and then stick this right in here. And it does help if you have a two-person job. What we want to get this to is up to at least 15 pounds of pressure right there. So you're gonna watch the dial, watch it go up to 15, at least up to 15. So here we go. See if I can do it for you. The first part's easy and then it gets really tough. If you don't have a good seal, then you won't see the dial moving up. So just watch for that. All right, we're at almost at 10. It gets slower at the end. And if you want to cheat on this, you cannot lift your hand off the jar sealer. It's just gonna, if you do, it's gonna lift off. So we're almost there. I'll show you a little cheat at the end though, if I can get it on my own strength. So close. Make sure you're holding this in there really tight down here. Okay, let's see if that worked. Did you hear that little vacuum seal? There we go. It is sealed. See that? Pretty cool. Now all you have to do is label this, put it in your storage, and you will be ready to go. This will last for a really, really long time because it's completely dehydrated. There's no moisture in there. This will last for years. You'll have potato soup years from now. You can use it anytime. And again, to rehydrate it, just add some water. It's gonna take at least double the water of the volume of this. And the potatoes do take a little bit longer because they're the biggest thing in here. So what I may do when I use this is I'll probably pour off the potatoes at least. Get the potatoes off into some water the night before and let those soak through the night, and then put everything together in a crock pot or in a big pot because those will be rehydrated by morning, and then you'll be ready to go. So this is ready to go, ready to store. Just to make a note, if you do get these, you're gonna need a wide mouth one and a regular. This was a regular mouth one I just did here. But as you can see, I'll do another one a little bit later, and I'll be using a large mouth. So that is it. That is super easy. I've dehydrated lots of stuff and I've sealed them all with my brake bleeder, which is so awesome. You can seal things up and put in oxygen absorbers or something like that. I wouldn't say you'd have to do both oxygen absorbers and this, because this effectively vacuum sealed, pulled the oxygen, the air out of here. So this should be fine. If you didn't have one of these, you could just seal it with a regular cap and ring, just like a normal cap and ring you would put on here. and put your oxygen absorber inside and then let that go. That would be another option as well. One other option, just a little extra thing you could do, is you could put a little salt packet or seasoning packet right on the inside. Get a little plastic packet, fill it up, seal that, and then put it right on the top here. So when you pull this out, you will have literally everything. You'll have the salt or pepper or whatever you want to put in your soup. Just pull that out, rehydrate everything, and then you've got your seasoning packet there as well. These would make great gifts for people. They're really pretty. You could do all kinds of soups in here. It doesn't have to be potato soup. You could dehydrate anything you want for a soup or a stew or just anything. Fruits are really great too. But yeah, these make great gifts. Great way to preserve your food for a later date. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.